All righty. So I'll take it to you, Sylvia. I think you said you wanted to go ahead and do approval of the minutes.
Yeah, you want to do roll call first?
Okay, yeah, I can definitely do roll call first. Okay, so once again, I'm gonna unmute you and just state that you are present. So starting with Commissioner Amberman.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Heseltine.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Orencia.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson.
Present.
Thank you. Vice Chair Gencott.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Rivera.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Stevens.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Thank you. Chair Neer Strickland.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Stanley.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Zoberman.
Hineni, which means here I am.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Zoberman. And somehow we lost Commissioner Cubine. Okay, when she gets back on, I'll go. Just make sure she identifies herself as present. All right, and I think this is her. Hold on one second. Is this Commissioner Cubine?
Yes.
Okay. Just we're doing roll call right now. Just need you to say that you're present.
I'm present.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone should have gotten minutes from week from the last retreat, and I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Okay. Raise your virtual hand if you would like to make a motion to approve. Okay. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman. Oh, Commissioner, let me unmute your mic. Commissioner Amberman. Okay, Commissioner, what was that, Commissioner Amberman?
I move the approve.
Okay, thank you. And I see a second virtual hand up by Commissioner Heseltine. Commissioner Heseltine?
I second the motion.
Okay. All right, and any discussion? Anyone? Let me check with our commissioners on the phone. Commissioner Zoberman, any discussion?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Cubine, any discussion on the motion?
Oh, no, thank you.
Okay,
I agree.
thank you. All right, with that, I'm going to do a roll call vote for approval of the minutes from the retreat and work plan review on October 1st. Commissioner Amberman?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Heseltine?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Rencio?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you. Vice Chair Gencott?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Rivera?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you. Chair Neer Strickland?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Stanley?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Zoberman?
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Cubine?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, and that is 12 for a yes on approval of the minutes from the retreat and work plan review on October 1st.
Cool. With that, I don't think there's any other business except to turn it over to our facilitator, Mr. Walker.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
So we're back, and we're going to see if we can complete this work plan. We went halfway through on our last retreat, the first retreat, and so this is going to just look at the second half and focus on the annexes to see, we're going to focus on the liaisons and focus on partnerships. We'll see if we can get through this, and then we'll package this all up, send it out for everyone for final comments and review, and we'll be well ahead of the game. The goal in the work plan is to try to have this completed in the first quarter. And so if we get it finished, we have a few days here. We're 1 month outside the first quarter. I think that's still very good. And so we're getting better because last year it was well into the fiscal year. So thumbs up. On that note, we really worked through the plan, and Dominique, yes, I can share. Thank you.
Yep, I gave you a chair. Just 1 second, O'Reilly. Yes, I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, did you? Okay. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing you. Okay, great. It's okay. All right, we're good.
All right. So does everyone see that? So this is the plan, the cover. We focused on changing it to FY 2021. And in the first part of the plan, we identify what that FY 2021 really means. We've cleaned up all the HRC members, chair, vice chair, cleaned up all the members as per the meeting, our first retreat, the liaisons. And then here we go with, let me move this box out the way. And so here the document says that this is the FY 2021. And so we've just chopped it down and then we clarify in the plan FY 2021 is July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. And we were all in agreement with that. And then we say that this work plan is going to be assessed and updated within the first quarter of FY 2022. So that's by September. Hopefully we can have it complete. July, August, September. Yes. Have it completed by September. There were no changes on this that we discussed. And we had lively discussions on HRC initiatives, and we came to agreement on that. The community conversations, awards and preparations, human rights celebration, and we're going to clean up the fonts and everything. And then we got into a discussion. This was a new area that we added, the HRC task forces, and there was an agreement on that. And so the COVID-19 task force, was there a question? I think, does someone have a question on, we have here Ginger being the chair of this and members. Did we have just on this, a question, was Commissioner Aberman a vice chair on this or a member on this?
I put them both on there because they're the two that are giving us most of the information and doing the work. If that's okay with them, is that agreeable to both of you?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And we put in the distinction, the paragraph here, we had the discussion what a task force means. Each task force, as you see here, it exists limited purpose. And so we had the standing committees, but these task forces are for a specific purpose and they have a time period. And so we have the COVID-19 Elderly Support Committee, Mental Health, Racial Tension, Retired Commissioners Table. Then we get into our standing committees. These were established and in place. So we have the awards, bylaws and procedures, forums and dialogues, independent observers, and then we put the footnote about something in the water, and the Law Enforcement Oversight Committee. We ensured we included everyone that wanted to be on those committees. Then we have the nominating committee and the public information committee.
Okay. I see a virtual hand up by Chair Neil Strickland.
Yes, I just want to clarify that when we designated the task force, my research was that there was a limited time, but I think we decided and discussed that, as Joe Burnsworth said, that the task force could go on for years and years and years with no limit. And also that there was a question from Commissioner Hasseltine, could a task force become a committee? And the answer was yes. So I just wanted to clarify that. Although it says a time limited purpose, that was very fluid when we discussed having a task force instead of committees. Is that what everybody remembers?
Anyone have any discussion on that? Any opinion on that? Okay. Let me check with our commissioners on the phone. Commissioner Zilberman?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kubine?
Yes. I was having some difficulty getting through, but I wasn't at the last meeting when that decision was made about mental health becoming a task force. And, you know, my feeling is that it really does need to be an ongoing thing because we know of how prevalent mental health disorders are in the city and in the country, and it affects all different races and ethnic groups. So, but saying that a task forces can also go on and on, that's okay with me. That was us, I'm sure. And we would like some input at times from the Human Rights Commission on things that you feel that we should be addressing in the field of mental health.
Okay, all right, thank you, Commissioner Kubine.
Very good. And I'm going to ask perhaps Dominique, if you can mute everyone, and then if anyone needs to speak, could we go ahead and then unmute them? There's background that I'm picking up on my end.
Okay, I have everyone muted, so maybe it's on my end. I apologize for that.
Okay.
Nobody is really around, but I don't. Maybe my mic is just that good.
Must be that
Okay.
good. All right. Very good. Okay. So we're okay with that that definition, limited time, but that time could go on and on and on.
Right. And just one other quick thing. We have 2 new student commissioners that we need to add up under the membership. So we're now a full commission, 19 members.
Okay. Any a question for me for my know-how and everything else I need to do for that. When was that appointment made? Because I haven't got anything from the city clerk yet. So, Sylvia?
How did I know then? If you didn't know.
That's a good question. So just I'll just reach out to the city clerk then and find out what's what.
It went out. I have a copy of it, so it went out sometime. The city clerk will have to give you the names.
Okay. All right. I will make a note to
Okay,
follow
thank
up
you.
with them. Thank you. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Did you still have something to say? I see you put it down.
Yes, I think we all received a letter informing us of the new 2 commissioners, and we had again the list of all the commissioners with the addresses and contact information. Everybody received that
Okay. You guys received this as an email or a letter?
as an email.
Okay. Okay. I guess I need to follow up with that and
Yeah.
tie up that loose end. Okay. Thank you. I have a virtual hand up by Vice Chair Jenkott. Your mic is now open.
Hi. I just forwarded the email to you. We all received it on Friday, so now you have it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay.
Okay.
And back to you, Aurelius, and your presentation.
All right. Very good. And so we have the task forces, then the standing committees. And so these are committees that will be in place to ensure critical functions of the HRC. We put that paragraph in, and then we discussed who the members would be. And then we had two final ones, and then our summary. And in the summary, we talked about during the fiscal year, the commission has already focused on racial equity. And so it's allowed for this open dialogue. And so we had some nice wording in here, things that you've accomplished already before even your work plan has been approved. And then that brings us to our discussion for today. And I don't know, is Joe, I'm just see the screen. Is Joe in the meeting today?
No, he's not. He's not present today.
Okay. Well, he did a lot of work, and the entire commission did in supporting him in putting together the onboarding package. And so he's key in this. And so in this discussion for the annex, we're looking for who the liaisons and the partnerships are going to be. And the first thing that we address are liaisons from the commission. And so this is just open for discussion. Liaisons from the commission. Is it clearly defined? Does everyone in the commission know? Do all the commissioners know how a liaison occurs officially from the commission? And that's what I think Joe, I believe in his onboarding package, clarified that now.
Anyone have any comment or discussion on this? I see a hand up by Vice Chair Gencott. Vice Chair Gencott, your mic is open.
Yes, the question is how are liaisons from the commission appointed? And the chair appoints liaisons from the commission, and I believe it states that in the onboarding packet also.
Very good.
You?
Yes, and by my standards, appointments are usually volunteer appointments. So I do have one thing. I don't know what I sent out the org chart. Are we going to go over that today as well, Aurelius?
If you would like, we can go through this. Absolutely.
Okay, because I think we need to make a distinction between, maybe we do, maybe we don't, partnerships and liaisons, because I have since learned that we have and did agree to be partners with Beach, bringing it into all homelessness. And I think there was a couple of others that are real partnerships. Oh, I see down here. Okay. Teresa, am I not right that Beach is a complete partnership?
Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
Yes, Sylvia, but once again, there is now a lot of obviously protocols, but the protocols in the past have been very fluid. So,
right.
So you're right, and so until we get this all sorted out, I really don't think we can have what we say is a standing way that it's done, because it's been done in all kinds of ways in past years. So is that helpful?
You mean as far as appointments, or
as appointments and
yes,
partnerships, and how groups become partners and how all that liaisoning goes. So it's wonderful that we're finally structuring this. But I can tell you, I'm on a lot of these, and I was appointed or being given that task in many different ways,
right,
which often and always involved the chair, but never a process by which was clear to either me or I don't think anybody on the commission.
Right. Hopefully this will clear that up. So,
and so if I may, moving forward, what we can do as Vice Chair Ginger mentioned, that it's in there that I guess the chair can appoint who will be liaisons from the commission and to what organizations, and that's based upon the person agreeing to it, because I heard you say, Sylvia, that it's by volunteer. So I think that's what Teresa is saying, that we really clarified how does this happen. So someone becomes a liaison from the commission based on the chair saying that you can do this if you would like to do this. This does not have to go back to the commission, the full commission. The chair can do this. Just want to make sure we're clear on this.
I think so.
Okay.
We do like to, I think it's written somewhere, maybe, hopefully, that we do hope to have a consensus for us to belong to that or have a liaison to it. I think that it's just by consensus. I see Teresa's hand up.
Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
Yes, in the past, Sylvia, as far as organizations or groups wanting to partner, they have had to ask us either through letter or an official request saying they want to partner. At least that's how we've done it in the past. And then we decide from there how that will proceed. But they've had to make an official link.
Thank you, Commissioner Stanley.
Thank you. And I'm sorry, I can't see this. I just see my screen that I'm sharing, so I can't see anyone. So thank you, Dominique, for helping with the hands up. So what I'm hearing, that liaisons and partnerships, are we clear in what is the difference between a liaison from the commission, a liaison to the commission, and then what the differentiation is between a partnership? What's the difference between liaison and a partnership?
From what I understand, and I don't know if this is written anywhere, the partnerships, we co-sponsor, for example, the beach, bring it into all city homelessness. We agreed to be partners and we advertise as if we are doing it. And they are with us in sponsorship. So the difference is then the liaison, they will have the group will have functions that they advertise, we attend, and we designate a liaison or a couple liaisons to each of those groups. So the difference is it's kind of a split partnership, which I'll bring up later, but the joint Oceanfront Committee is equally shared between the Resort Advisory Commission and the Human Rights Commission. So I consider that a partnership. We have been calling it a committee, but it's really a partnership. I guess it's a committee that is a partnership. And there may be some in here that I'm not familiar with, but they might be partnerships as well.
Okay. So as we look at, thank you, Chairwoman. So looking at this listing of liaisons from the commission, are we okay with these? So it sounds like that the way it was just defined, that they go out and they support, not necessarily teaming with, but attending the functions. Are we comfortable with, we have the beach liaison, city manager LGBTQ work group, Hampton Roads Black Caucus, Princess Anne County Confederate Statue Roundtable, and that's retired now, Study of Religious Freedom at the Virginia Wesleyan University, Virginia Association of Human Rights Commission, Southampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table. So are these all still good and standing liaisons?
I have a virtual hand up by Vice Chair Jencott. Vice Chair Jencott, your mic is open.
Thank you. Yeah, these all look really good as far as the list. I wanted to validate what Teresa was saying earlier about the formal request. If an organization wants a liaison from us, that they would give us a letter in writing. That is correct, and that should be reflected in the onboarding packet with the procedures. I know it was in there. Joe and I worked closely on putting that in there. So yes, what Teresa was saying is good. And these all look great.
Very good. And I apologize, they're doing some work outside of our building here. In the, you know it.
Thank you, Vice Chair Jencott. I have another virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is now open.
Hey, I'm just trying to understand the difference here between these liaisons and the partnerships. I understand that liaisons, we have a physical person participating as, for the lack of a better word, as an ambassador from the Human Rights Commission to whatever group. Now, these partnerships, do they have liaisons or persons representing the Human Rights Commission at their meetings?
Yeah, yes. Yes.
So then the partnership is a structural collaboration with another group, but the liaison is the physical person that represents the commission to a group. So I'm not sure if I'm understanding what
Only,
technically, wouldn't we be in partnerships with all of these different groups because we have our liaisons participating with them? That's what I'm kind of confused about.
okay, let me try one more time. I think, and I too get a little confused, but with each, should the other party not do anything, we would still be responsible for a celebration of the event. Whereas the other groups that we are liaisons to, should they not have an event, it would not be our responsibility to take up and do it. So it's not a full partnership. It's we're liaisons to the group, and information flows to and from through the liaison. But as in partnerships, and I can only think of two right now, and maybe Teresa can help me, but Beach is one of them. I know that our last year we sent out, it said Human Rights Commission sponsors Beach, and then it went on. And the same with Joint RAC and HRC. We would do nothing as a lone person for HRC, that joint. We do it as a full body. Does that help? And am I right with that?
Commissioner Rivera, your mic is still open.
Yeah, it helps a little. I'm just, I guess, a little confused about the terms of things, and
we could call them all liaisons. I'm not sure. Teresa, you can...
I have a virtual hand up by Vice Chair Jencott. Vice Chair Jencott, your mic is open.
Hey, how confusing is this, right?
Right.
I want to, some of the things, Sylvia, that you're saying about the partnerships, when Louis asked you if we have liaisons to the partnerships, we don't have liaisons to the partnerships. We don't have someone who attends the cultural affairs meetings or someone who attends the MOCA meetings. But when things come up, that part is true. Like events come up and they want us to be involved with them. That's when we will partner with them for things. And I think that's more, it's on an as need kind of basis. When they're reaching out to us, then we'll say, hey, you want to partner? Yeah, we're going to partner. But we don't send someone to their meetings.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the understanding that what makes them different than the liaisons.
Okay, now I'm more confused. We do have liaisons that go to these meetings.
Okay, who goes to the MOCA, what MOCA meeting?
The MOCA meeting has been, I don't know who. When they've asked for us to go, when they've notified us, they had asked to be partners with us. And we as a commission said yes to, I know I attend a cultural meeting. I'm not sure if that's the same thing that she asked for partnerships with, and it may have to be clarified. But again, going back to Beach, we are responsible for that every year.
And that is under liaisons. Well, I think you might be referring to the Season for Nonviolence. Is that what you're referring to?
Season for Nonviolence, but Beach is something different.
That's right. That's right.
Well, if I may, don't mean to cut you off. We've come a long way. We're almost there. And we have definitions, and I think if we can just clearly define what is a liaison and what is a partnership, and we can get it written down, that would certainly help. And I can, and here in this virtual world, I could put a document up and I can start typing it just to, to ensure that we're there. If I had the board, is that okay that we can try this, or any other thoughts on it?
If Dominique has a copy of the onboarding document, you can look in there. I can go across the room and pull up the onboarding document to see if we've already done that.
That would be
That's a good
great.
idea.
Yes.
Let me pull that up.
That's right. I knew Joe had done a lot of work on this, and I was like, man, I hope he's there, that we can get it clarified, get it identified, and then, okay, now we can say who was a part of this.
I think Teresa had her hand up.
Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
I just wanted to tell you, Aurelius, this is why this has been held till last. It is complex, and you're right. As soon as we get clarity around how we want to, but what it is, it's the pulse of the community, the work that's going on in community in, all different ways. But I would define the partnership. It's anyone who has officially said they want to be in relationship or partnership with us in any way. And in some cases, like Beach, it includes a homeless vigil that we have now taken the lead on with them year after year. So there is an event attached, but it wouldn't necessarily always have to be that for each thing. So if we have an apartment partnership with Mocha, it's because we love the space and we can sometimes do things with art. But I think each partnership can be defined differently. We just need to put it into a category. And once it's in a category, then it belongs. And to a varying degree, we need different liaison support for those things, depending on if they want us to have it. So that's the way if that's helpful.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Where? Okay, there you are. I realized. Okay, so I am searching for the part where they mentioned.
I'm going to jump in because I'm that kind of girl. And,
Go right ahead.
and follow up on Teresa is, I like what she was saying, that and Aurelius, we've come a long way with these three categories. And I think that they serve their purpose when a purpose is needed. And I kind of like what Teresa's saying there, that as things come up, then we're going to work with them and not to try to put something in stone that may not be lasting. It may not apply to each of them because they're all a little bit different. How tight do we need to be on this, really? That's my comment. Sorry.
And that's up to the commission, how tight, because you can get a pretty long list. And how do you categorize it? Beatrice?
See a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Thank you. Yes, and partnerships should be very flexible. For instance, Mocha has expressed its desire to support all the forums and to give us a space free of charge, which is actually pretty open to have us even, have receptions and so forth, totally, at a different cost than any other entity in the city. So, but they have not requested that we send a representative, although I wanted to disclose that I have been attending a lot of their virtual community meetings, and they, aside from being a human rights commissioner, they asked me to be a member of, some committees from different events that they're holding, but that has nothing to do with the Human Rights Commission. So, but for us, I think that maybe every different commission can require to be in partnership with us for different things. Like, for instance, the Mayor's Commission on the Aging holds a yearly forum for the elderly. If we have now one committee or task force, then we can, send a letter and say, hey, we want to participate in that and make it part of our, but if we totally say that everybody has to follow a pattern, I think it's going to be a lot more difficult for all the other entities to, marry the plans with ours.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman.
And I have a question. Are you saying that we don't need liaisons? Is that what people are saying? Because we just had a beach meeting and Mark and Teresa went to that as our liaison. Is that correct?
I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman again.
Yes, and I think things, and maybe it will serve as well to separate it. I feel that some organizations have asked us to have somebody present because they have regular meetings and so forth, and and others, the partnerships not necessarily need us to be part of their regular meetings or so forth. So the partnerships, I think, are different than the liaisons. Liaisons need to have a representative either from their organization to ours or from ours to theirs. That is what a liaison, work will be. But partnerships, I think, it's a different ballgame.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Stanley, I saw your real hand up. Your mic is open.
Yes, I see it like all things are partnerships. I mean, as Aurelius is trying to get this down, and some partnerships need liaisons because it's more official and they required that link. Is that helpful to kind of but anytime an entity is trying to be in partnership with us, I believe that we should make that very flexible in whatever ways it needs to. So that's, I guess, what I was trying to articulate at first. So I don't think we have to have a liaison for every partnership.
Okay. Partnership is the umbrella. So I think maybe then to clarify this, just to see, because what we're doing, we're focusing on your work plan. So if I could have share rights again, Dominique. Please.
Yes. Hold on 1 second. Where are you? Here we go. All right. Hold on a second. Okay, you should be all set now.
Thank you. So let's put this back. So this is your work plan, and here are the liaisons. And so for your work plan, the discussion should be then, because you're doing a lot of work, this commission, your hands are in a lot of things that are important, that are meaningful, and that touch a lot of people's lives. For the work plan, this is saying this is what we're going to focus on, not saying that you won't get involved in other things, but for the work plan, this is the question. What gets us to the level that this is going to be in the work plan for this fiscal year? Beach. Who makes that decision? Commission or chair? Because that's the point. What gets into your work plan? Because you're doing a lot of things. So we're at the point now, okay, you have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things that you say you're liaisons from the commission. But that's interesting. If partnerships are the umbrella, it seems like we have a partnership with Beach, and also then we have a liaison in Teresa. The city manager LGBTQ, is that a partnership also? And down here, should they be down there? I'm just trying to get it in my mind to ensure that our plan is going to be clear and readable, and that it follows, a track.
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is now open.
And you are totally correct, Aurelius, and that is why I was specifying if we see the work that we have done so far, and you see under partnerships, okay, you will see that in none of those organizations is requesting that we actually, except for Season of Nonviolence, which, I don't know much about that particular issue, but, the pastors and leadership round table does have Teresa Stanley, and I guess the Season for Nonviolence is also Teresa Stanley, but the other two do not request that we send a liaison. Okay. And so that is what I think the confusion is, because there are maybe the pastors and leadership and the Season of Nonviolence shouldn't be under partnerships and should be under liaisons. just so that we can clarify in which organizations we do need a representative, and then what other entities are not requesting that from us, but actually they're going to reach out either to departments, such as send a request to Dominique or to the chair that they're going to be doing X, Y, and Z, and that they want to partner with us.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman.
And I think,
Thanks.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead and speak.
That would be, that would certainly clarify everything. If we put everything under liaisons/partnerships, it, as Teresa has explained, it's difficult to separate the two, put them all down there. If there's a regular scheduled meeting, for example, the roundtable, Teresa and I have been attending, and but anybody else can go. So we just need to maybe combine those two, and it would be less confusing for us.
Okay. Any comments on that? Thoughts? So I hear the chair is recommending just combining partnerships and liaisons and identifying if there is a liaison.
Okay, I see a real hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
I just want to so affirm that that works, because it's got to be fluid. Meaning if everything's under partnerships, there may be times, you know, that we do need a liaison in one of those partnerships for when or they request it. That way it can move. So all partnerships are listed. So those 4 that are at the bottom should actually be at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And some partnerships need liaisons and others don't.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Let me check with our commissioners on the phone, see if they have any comments on this matter. Commissioner Zoberman, your mic is open.
It's always good to simplify matters, so I'm for joining the two.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Zoberman. Commissioner Cubine, your mic is open.
Yes, I think that's a fine idea.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cubine. Did anyone else have any opinion on that or discussion to add? Okay, I'm not seeing any virtual hands up.
Okay. So what we'll do, we'll move partnerships up to the top here. Let's see. And we'll do some formatting here, and then we'll put some text in. All we'll go out to the commissioners to make sure we're all okay with this.
Okay.
So we'll work it. We'll do some formatting. We'll combine the two, and I think I've taken notes and might tweak some of the wording a little bit when I send it out before it goes to the full commission. But I think that's going to give some clarity, and I like the way Rabbi Zoberman said it simplifies, and that's what we're trying to do: make it simple, but allow it to get some direction. We okay?
Yes, and I have one other thing. Since I spoke to Mark Reed, and the Princess Anne statue has gone away, as far as I know. That round table, it's no longer in existence.
So that's gone now.
Right, because there's no Confederate statue there, so we have.
So we'll take that. That is now gone.
And then we have to. Oh, I'm sorry.
And then maybe we can put some text that you had a part in the movie. I think that is in the text that
Right.
the commission was involved in moving the statute. Okay.
Yes, sir. And we have to find a place for the joint HRC RAC committee.
I was just about to mention that.
It is ongoing. It is needed as needed. Actually, we need to get back together. We've missed a couple of weeks, maybe a whole month. But
So this would that be a liaison from the commission?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Just to clarify, I think that what we're saying is that we are going to join in those things that are called partnerships and liaisons and label all of them partnerships. And just on one line, just put there, if we have a liaison, you know, instead of saying HRC rep, we have to see put liaison in there.
Yeah.
And with that, then we can have the commission relationship with RAC listed again under the same list over here. And then just, either decide that Sylvia is going to be, the person relating to that group and so forth. But that is what I hear from everybody.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Amberman.
So I'm doing a little work here. Culture affairs, pastors, and season for nonviolence. They will take this away. And so they're all partnerships. And then if it has with that you said, Beatrice, would that say liaison instead of rep?
Yeah, that's good.
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
Yes, and I'm sorry I'm over talking so much, but I feel like I've been living in this world, so I really know it. So yes, I think liaison, as Beatrice suggested, is a great idea. And so I had two more other points. We want to add, the ones that we do have representation at both the pastor leader table and Season for Nonviolence, because we do, whether they're for right now, Sylvia and myself, and Beatrice, I know we just want to make sure we add those, but also revisiting the Princess Anne County Courthouse Confederate Roundtable Group partnership. Is it really finished? Because the work we did was bringing to fruition that it needed to be removed, but there's still a lot of work to be done around what's going to happen to it. Is that accurate or not? And a lot of that is in the human rights realm. But Rabbi Zoberman could probably answer that for me. But I'm just questioning whether that's really totally resigned.
Okay. In that case, Rabbi Zoberman, your mic is now open.
Well said, Teresa. We are on hold right now, given the fact that the City Council has to decide how to move forward in terms of where to put the monument and also what to do with the park idea. So it is on hold right now. But it's still an issue that is of great concern to us.
Yeah, so I would not resign it. Thank you, Rabbi Zoberman. I feel like we may have some real work to do there. So
absolutely.
Hire that artificially prematurely.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Zoberman, and thank you, Commissioner Stanley.
So what we've done, we're getting some clarity here. So partnerships. So we have now we just have partnerships. So it's not going to be, well, we can. You still want to call it partnerships, liaisons and partnerships, or is it just partnerships that has liaisons and some don't have liaisons? Should this just say partnerships up here? Any thoughts on that?
Any objection to that? Any opinion on that? I see Commissioner Stanley, your virtual hand is up.
Oh, my bad. I didn't see that before.
Okay. Vice Chair Jenkott, see your virtual hand is up. Your mic is open.
Aurelius, is your question whether we need a heading where the column that says partnerships?
No, at the very top where it says liaisons and partnerships, should this just say HRC partnerships?
No, I think it should say both.
Okay, very good. And so it says the partnership there, and then certain partnerships has an HRC liaison and backups.
Okay, I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is now open.
My suggestion is that we call it HRC partnerships / liaisons, if that is the desire, of the group. But partnerships is first because we're partnering with those organizations, and then the liaison means that we as a commission decide who from our group is representing us with those groups or participating with those groups.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Vice Chair Jenkott, your mic is open.
So Is it something that we need to step outside of the box and maybe we call this HRC community work or community connections instead of partnership liaison? And so this is more broad.
Commissioner Amberman, your mic is now open.
No, I think the partnerships, in my opinion, basically covers the breadth of what we're talking about. So I vote for partnerships.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Commissioner Amberman. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is now open.
I believe that partnerships formalizes the relationship, and that is more appropriate in my eyes. I like the way we set up the partnerships / liaisons.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rivera. I see a virtual hand up by Chair Neil Strickland.
I agree with that, with partnerships and liaisons, because in addition to all this work, our commissioners are still out in the community doing a lot of different community work, and calling that community would make me feel like we'd want to expand it. And I think this is good. Partnerships with liaisons.
Very good. I'm trying to, this jackhammer is going out there. So I see some clarity here. This is, I'm feeling good. How's the commission feeling about this?
I see Commissioner Rivera, your virtual hand is still up, Commissioner Rivera. That's okay. You're all good? Did you have more to say?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you. Let me check with our commissioners. Oh, I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
I just wanted to reaffirm that I think partnerships also really credits the community with the investment. Community work is kind of even a broader heading than our partnerships. I see it as, Ginger. So it doesn't mean that's not all going on out there, but people that have really invested in trying to bring this into the human rights arena, I feel like partnerships really, it does formalize. So I really appreciate that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Let me check and see with our commissioners who are on the phone. Commissioner Zoberman?
Yeah, partnership / liaisons makes sense. I think there's another point that we might not have discussed, and that is, partnership assumes a serious bond. We are buying into something, and given that it's an important proposition that impacts upon our organization, we should have the entire body of HRC decide if we are willing to join in partnership with whatever group.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Zoberman.
To answer him, that's what we have been doing the last couple of years, is that we get.
Yeah, I want to emphasize it. Yeah, that's important to maintain. Yes.
Yeah, that we have a consensus.
So okay, and I'm sorry, this is excellent. So what Rabbi Zoberman just said is key. So we're going to go through and just ensure that these are all partnerships that the commission agrees with. And if the commission is okay, we'll put in writing, as the rabbi just mentioned, how one becomes a partnership, how one becomes a the HRC, that it comes to the commission. And so that way it's in your work plan. It's very clear. So what we can do is go through based on our understanding. Here's a partnership. It's been agreed to by the commission, and this is the liaison. We can go through this list, and I think we can be done. And then this would be an opportunity to, does something need to be added? Or does one of these need to be taken out at this time as you're working on your work plan? So let's just go through. As a partnership, beach, bringing into all city homelessness. Is that still a current partnership?
Any objection to that being a partnership? Commissioner Zoberman?
No.
Okay. And then that...
let me check with Commissioner Cubine. Commissioner Cubine? Commissioner Cubine, are you still with us? Hello, Commissioner Cubine?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear?
Hi. We can hear you, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get to speak about the partnership liaison. I like that. And I think the liaison should be named who the liaison is so we all know. Also, in terms of some of those partnership liaisons like RAC, a number of human rights commissioners have been attending those meetings also. So I would like some clarity about if someone is the liaison, are they the only ones expected to be a part of that partnership, or is it open to all of the commissioners and is needed, that sort of thing? Are you there?
We're here. Chair Nair
And-
Strickland, would you be able to clarify that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really believe that our joint RAC belongs up under committees of some sort, because that is as many people as we can get from human rights and as many as we can get from RAC joined together, and those are the ideas that we toss around. So it's not really a designated liaison. It really, I think, belongs under committee. The other ones, yes, I can see where we want to designate people to be responsible for letting us know about things. So I'm not sure how you guys want to do that, but.
Well, if I may, let's go through the list and we'll keep going through. And if you want to add one here, we can add it. Or if you want to, if the commission wants to discuss moving something up as to one of the joint committees, we can do that. So if we focus on this, I think we'll get this part of the plan done, if that's okay.
Yes,
all right.
Frances had her hand up.
Yep, I was going there next.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is now open.
Yes, Aurelius, I'm ready to go through the list, but before we do, I'm wondering if we could go back and read our mission statement, purpose statement, or whatever the statement is. I just have a concern. I want to make sure that whatever we partner with, whatever organization, whatever group we partner with, I want to make sure that we are aligned with our purpose. If this is our work, I just want to make sure that we are doing our work rather than just representing or being a part of an organization. But if this is our work plan, I think we ought to be focused on the work of what the Human Rights Commission is and what our purpose is. Are we aligned with that group? Are we aligned with that partner? Or is this something that we can connect to as it relates to who the Human Rights Commission is, what the purpose is, why we're organized? Are we directly aligned with that organization? So I just would like to review that before we go through the list.
Okay.
In our minds, so we know, does this align with who we are? You get what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good.
Thank you. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Yes, and I'm glad that you have the purpose of the HRC right there. And if you look at every single one of the organizations that we're partnering, they fall under A, to institute, conduct, and engage educational and informational programs for the promotion of mutual understanding and respect among citizens and the fulfillment of human rights. And that is when we get involved with any organization that has decided to partner with us. That is the category that they all fall under.
Very good.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman.
Any thoughts on that? We agree with that? Discussion on that?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
I just want to add to Beatrice's where they fall on the mission, because I think we also fall under B. When we do service forums and discussions and we lift issues, we propose, and we've even been part of remedy for solutions for the improvement of human relations in the city. So every time we ever go into a partnership, we check and make sure A, B, C, or D, one of these is, or all of these are, what does this have to do with human rights? That's always our question. How is being aligned with human rights? So I just wanted to make sure, Francis, you knew that at least all the work that I've ever seen us partake in and partner with, it has always met that criteria.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Chair Nair Strickland, see your virtual hand is up.
Yes, I just wanted to also reiterate that to everyone that the organizations, I know that maybe homeless doesn't seem like a human rights issue, but since it affects more minorities than others, I think we always do go through this list in our mind, whether we literally go through and check A, B, C, D, or E. But if you look at all of the partnerships that we have, it is somehow touching someone's violation of human rights, or at least the perception of, and that could be age, everything. So I think that we have to expand our minds a little bit for human rights, not civil rights.
Okay, thank you, Chair Nair Strickland. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Yes, and actually, even to put another program right there in our eyes. For instance, MOCA right now has sent an invitation regarding the current, and I'm thinking arts, many times people don't view it as sending a message of human rights and so forth. But right now, for instance, MOCA is asking, people in the community of diverse backgrounds to support them in their arts program that's called Shifting Grace. It is talking about Black and Hispanic bodies. And there are discussions going on in regards to race relations and issues going in those communities. So not because an organization is an arts organization, it doesn't mean that they don't go into the area of human rights.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman.
So just want to make sure, Francis, you feel now looking at that, being refreshed with that, we can go through the list. And there goes the jackhammer again. Are we?
Commissioner Thompson, your mic is now open.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I see a virtual hand is up by Commissioner Stanley. Did you have more to say? Your mic is open.
I am so sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. We're still in this virtual world. Like, if you think about it, we really haven't had a lot of meetings with this WebEx, and we're still learning. we still got a lot of work to do on becoming those WebEx experts. Okay, so Rodriguez, I'll give that back to you.
Okay, with this jackhammer going, if we can just go through the list, and maybe Dominique, if you could just go down and say, okay, are we okay with, I think we're okay with beach, and are we okay with the liaison and with the backups, and just go down the list and just affirm by the commission that these are all okay, and I'm going to shut this mic off and the jackhammer.
Okay. All right. With that, any objection to the beach partnership and the listed liaisons and backups? We have liaisons as Teresa Stanley, backups Carla Hesseltine, and Mark Stevens. Any objections? You can raise your virtual hand, or Commissioner Stanley, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I just want to add put Mark Stevens over there as actually first liaison now.
Okay. All right, and I'm going to just check with our commissioners that are on the phone, make sure they are all clear on the beach partnership. Commissioner Zoberman?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so thank you. Commissioner Cubine?
Yes, very much in favor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that next one, City Manager LGBTQ Work Group. We have Ginger as the liaison and Joe Burnsworth as the backup. Any objections to this being listed as a HRC partnership? Please raise your virtual hand if you do. Okay, I see no virtual hands. Commissioner Zoberman?
No objection, no objection.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Cubine?
Yes, I'm good with that.
Okay, thank you. Next partnership, we have Hampton Roads Black Caucus with Ron Taylor as the HRC liaison and Commissioner Francis Knight Thompson as the backup. Any objections to this being a partnership and the listed liaisons and backup? I see no virtual hands. Commissioner Zoberman?
No objection.
Thank you. Commissioner Kubine?
I'm fine. No
Okay,
objection.
thank you. And now we have the Princess Anne County Confederate Statute Roundtable as a partnership with liaison as Commissioner Israel Zoberman. Now, I know we talked about keeping that here, but possibly putting a notation that is on hold, as Commissioner Zoberman stated. Any objection to that? Okay, I see no virtual hands. Commissioner Zoberman?
It's good to maintain contact, obviously. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Commissioner Kubine, any objection to that?
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a backup?
Commissioner Zoberman, is there a backup to?
Well, Michael Berlucci used to join me, so I'm not sure about his standing at this time.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Zoberman.
We don't have one right now. Josh was also on that.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
got it.
All right, so next partnership we had listed is Study of Religious Freedom at Virginia Wesleyan University with Commissioner Teresa Stanley as the HRC liaison and Commissioner Beatrice Amberman as the backup. Do we have any objections to that partnership or listed liaisons and backup? Okay, I see no virtual hands. Let me check with our commissioners on the phone. Commissioner Zoberman?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kubine?
Oh, fine.
Okay, thank you. Next partnership listed, we have Virginia Association of Human Rights Commission with our HRC liaison as Vice Chair Ginger Jenkott and backup all members. Any objections to that listed partnership, liaison or backup?
I think you can put my name under Ginger's. We've both been attending.
Okay. So we're adding Chair Sylvia Neer Strickland as a HRC liaison for the Virginia Association of Human Rights Commission. Any objection to any of that partnership or the details associated? I don't see any virtual hands up. And Commissioner Zoberman?
No objection.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kubine?
Objection.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have the partnership of Southampton Rose Legislative Collaborative Table with Commissioner Teresa Stanley as the HRC liaison and no backup at this time. Any objection to that listed partnership? Okay,
I would only say as backup, there are several commissioners that attend that, so you could put other members,
okay.
HRC as the backup.
Okay. And I see a virtual hand up by Vice Chair Jenkott. Vice Chair Jenkott, your mic is now open.
Thank you. I wanted to bring this to discussion to clarify primarily for me, the Legislative Collaborative Table. And I attend regularly, I have for 2 years. What this group does is pulls together legislative items to move forward to the legislature. And I'm wondering, is this in conflict with human rights as a human rights commissioner? Because Rod Ingram has told us that we are able to publicly support legislative items that the city council supports. And so I don't know, I may be reaching out, but I just want to make sure that we're not doing anything here that would be in conflict with Human Rights Commission. And I love this group and I'll keep working with them, but just questioning.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Jenkott. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is open.
I think that was an excellent point that you just made, Ginger. I believe it's my understanding that our input is to go to the city council. The city council in turn takes that input does whatever they have to do with it, vote on it, whatever, and then they submit whatever suggestions they want to the state legislature. If this particular group is attempting to do the same, then I would definitely see it as a conflict. If this group is only looking or evaluating different legislation possibilities or suggestions, then it may not be. So I'm not quite sure exactly what this Southampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table is doing, but if it goes against what we've been mandated to do with the city council, then yes, definitely be a conflict. If not, then not.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Amberman, I see your virtual hand is up. Your mic is now open.
Thank you. And I have attended for several years, and I basically think that this organization is the pulse of the community. If we as commissioners cannot educate ourselves as to what the different populations are worried about, I want to ask every single one of the members appointed to be HRC commissioners, how do you get your information as to the concerns of the community at large? And this is a group basically that brings all those concerns. And then it serves as many functions. And this is the way I see it. Once we send the recommendation to city council, then you can go and inform this group of organizations. It's not one person. This is a group of organizations that have worked for decades together. And groups like this exist all over Virginia. But once that group knows what is it that we are supporting, then they bring their support to the issues that we care about, and also informs them what is it that we as commissioners care for. But the main point that I wanted to bring is that I have served this HRC twice, being appointed by city council. So it's almost like what? Almost close to 20 years altogether. And let me tell you, there has been times where the commission has not had a single member that knows anything about what the pulse of the community is. What is it that the community over there is worried and concerned about? If anything else, I mean, you're not required to go and lobby. That is number one. You are required to come and bring a concern forth. And then as a group, all these organizations say, well, let's choose priorities. And then from there, they go on. But they're not making it obligatory that if you are there as a human rights commission or commissioner, that you go there and lobby. But you do bring information forward. And then when you listen to the concerns of the community, you can come and inform the HRC about it. And this is, I think, very beneficial.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. So in regards to Vice Chair Jencott's concerned about being a conflict of interest, Rod he called early and he's offered to be an ear or a legal counsel for this meeting. Do you want me to reach out to him and see if he can answer that question? Vice Chair Jencott, your mic is open.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not questioning the value of this group at all, Beatrice, at all, because I'm there. I'm there for it. What I'm questioning, should a situation happen such as we send up a legislative item to our city council, they reject it, but then we work with this group and lobby for that same legislative item, are we in conflict? And we don't need to debate it. I think the group is phenomenal, the pulse of the community, as you say. But I don't think that I would be a liaison to this group. So I am attending as a private citizen. So we could take my name off of there, and I'm happy with whatever everybody else says about it. So it's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Jencott. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman again. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
And Ginger, I appreciate your comment because it brings an opportunity to clarify. And again, when we are there, we can just inform what the commission is supporting through our legislative, city process. But let's remember that no matter where we are, we cannot be saying that we are there representing HRC. That is not what we are doing. And then another thing, if I belong to a group and I come there just to inform them, the HRC is supporting 1, 2, or 3 items. I want to inform you to see if you want to include them into the things that all of you organizations want to sponsor. But that doesn't mean that with that, I'm constraining those organizations from supporting anything else that the HRC or the City of Virginia Beach is not supporting. Those are two different things. And it is not our job. For instance, as members of the statewide Virginia Organization of Human Rights Commissioners, we have nothing to do what other commissioners and other cities do. And yet we are members of that organization. So that means that actually we can be individual organizations and an individual HRC, and yet we can form part of a larger group that is communicating about the same issues. And that's the way I see it.
Okay, so.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman. I have some other virtual hands up.
Okay, so before we get to, so again, let's just try to frame this. We're looking at the Southampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table, if it's going to be a partnership with the HRC, and if we're going to have a liaison. Right now it's Teresa Stanley, and a backup as Beatrice, or is Beatrice saying she's just going to attend? So I think that's the issue, not trying to stifle the dialogue, but let's just try to, if we can center back on that.
Okay. I have a virtual hand up by Chair Nair Strickland.
Yes, it seems like I went to these years ago, but do you attend? I know that Tommy's on the phone too. Tommy, I think, attends because of mental health. If everyone is attending for their own communities or their issues, we are not attending as human rights commissioners, and you are not talking about human rights, but gathering information, or you're being educated. Is that correct?
Okay. Let me check with Commissioner Cubine. Commissioner Cubine, your mic is open.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to have a chance to speak. The Legislative Collaborative Table has been supporting STEP Virginia for the last 3 years. And I have participated, and I'm a bona fide participant because our Human Rights Commission supported STEP Virginia. The City Council has supported STEP Virginia. And I have checked with the city attorney, and it's fine for us to say that we are from the Human Rights Commission when we go to see the legislators locally and in Richmond. I know that Teresa Stanley knows more about this than anybody. And oftentimes there is more than one issue that the table is supporting, and that the Human Rights Commission, or our city council at least, and sometimes the Human Rights Commission is supporting. So they've been very strong advocates for mental health, and I really don't see any conflict myself because they do support many of the same issues that we do.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cubine. Oh.
But say Teresa knows a lot more about it. She knows a lot of times that the things that our Human Rights Commission is supporting, the legislation that we're supporting, are part of what they're supporting also. And definitely, I was hoping that everybody would know that STEP Virginia was adopted by them, because we presented it and asked that because they are a very strong advocacy group, an excellent group, and I'd be glad to be back up to Teresa on that.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Cubine. With that, Commissioner Stanley, did you have something to add on this particular partnership?
First of all, I love this discussion. This is the meat. This is what we did at the last retreat when we got into the meat. The tension is exactly where we need to be. And so I'd like to put forth what I think might be a good way to operate, because it's been hard to be in the nebulous. We, as Beatrice said, one thing I want to state is I'm getting more clear about this. When I attended the Virginia Association for Human Rights Commission, the 3-hour, 4-hour meeting, it became very clear to me that we are special here. We are special because a lot of those are paid employees out of their cities. They have no right to advocate. They have no ability to play in the flexible partnerships. We do. And that's what and it's no longer just the Southampton roads. It's grown to be the Hampton roads. So we can take south off of there, Aurelius. So we have a large group of grassroots, pulse of the people that decide on the issues of human rights, what they can all put their own agendas aside for and make as 6 priorities. We do the same thing with our legislative work. But because of our constrictions, we can only, as Ginger said, we can only put forth our suggestions to City Council. Some of those they adopt, some of them they don't. Some that are very much along the lines of human rights get spit back out at us. So this kind of partnership allows us as individuals to be able to keep doing that. But I would suggest maybe we take out the liaison position altogether, and we all participate as just active individuals, but we still maintain the partnership. As Beatrice said, without that partnership, we do not have the pulse of the community. We do not know, who is suffering, what is happening in the arena of human rights, and I mean all human rights, because there are more than 25 organizations that come together and make a decision to work together in the lane of human rights and abuses. So I think that might take care of it, Sylvia, in going to Rod. Beatrice is saying no, meaning that we can participate in the partnership as long as, unless it's been blessed by City Council, which it did in the arena of the mental health step legislation, we would never ever use the human rights umbrella when we go to advocate. And that's how we've been doing it. The Human Rights Commission is not listed as one of the organizations, because I felt like that there are oftentimes issues that might compromise us, as Ginger said, and I would never want to done it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Thank you. And I, just for clarity purposes, I think that we should have some names in there, because if people want to discuss this issue, if they want to have individual members to testify what this is about and to have the work move forward, it cannot be nebulous. It cannot be like nobody knows, who knows what it is. If I step out of the commission next year, or Teresa in another 2 years, then it will be nothing and nobody. I feel they should have at least the 3 names that we had as backup or support, because it says there support. So we are supportive, and I would want to have some names in there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Stanley, I see your virtual hand is up. Do you have something there?
Beatrice, I so appreciate that. I would prefer it that way. I am just saying, in the event that our vice chair or anyone else cannot live with it this way, but I do want to assure the vice chair that we make sure those distinctions are clear. We never, ever use the human rights name, label, anything, and they're specifically not listed as a group, just in case any of the legislative priorities might go against the will of City Council. So I want you to once again know we have been so cautious about those relationships, and we will always honor that. But I do think we need to be challenging ourselves to be in the lane of human rights, even when our City Council is yet there.
Thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Vice Chair Gencott, your virtual hand is up. Your mic is not open.
Thank you. Yeah, all true, all good stuff. I want to clarify for the group that I have been attending for Hampton Roads Pride for the LGBT community. And we have pushed through a lot of legislation with the help of this group. And so that's information that I bring back to our group also, but that's my representative spot on that committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Jenkott. Okay, I have a virtual hand up by Chair Neer Strickland. Chair?
I just wanted to say I see that Ron Taylor and JoJo are still on the phone, I think, just to remind you.
They're actually joined on the WebEx and the computer, so they're with us, not on the phone like Commissioners Overbin and Commissioner Devine. Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Heseltine. Commissioner Heseltine, your mic is now open.
Hi, thanks. And I agree with everybody. This is the Legislative Collaborative Table is an important initiative. I guess I'm really confused because I don't understand how it could be a partnership if you're not representing yourself as a Human Rights Commissioner, and you're there only for information. I don't understand how it's a partnership if we can't actually be involved. Or did I misunderstand the way this is done?
Okay, Commissioner Heseltine, thank you. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is now open.
No, I exactly thinking the same thing that Carla was thinking. How can we have that partnership if we are individuals from the community and not human rights commissioners? I believe Beatrice had mentioned that we didn't have to participate as commissioners. And so if that's the relationship, then why the need for the partnership?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rivera. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic's now open.
Yes, thank you. Basically, you are able to attend the meetings and listen to the concerns of the community and the diverse groups. And I think for knowledge, the members that have been there have been very useful, bringing back information as to what are the pressing issues in Virginia, and just to bring them back into our community. I think it behooves us to be informed, and I see that the discussion of human rights at all levels, it's important. For instance, every time I see a forum placed by either Norfolk State University or other entities, I try to attend because I think it gives us an opportunity just to be informed, to see what speakers they have, what other liaisons or groups can be supportive to our work. And that is the way I see it. I see that opening venues and building bridges means actually being in touch as to what people doing the real work of human rights work is in the community. Hands down, it's like, so I feel it's useful.
Okay.
So if I may, a couple of issues are here. We're discussing, is this a partnership? The list here are all the organizations that the HRC is a partner with. A couple of good points were made. Well, if we can't say we're representing HRC, should the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table be listed as a partnership with HRC liaisons in your work plan?
Okay, I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
I'm going to say again, this one is it's tricky, but it's so critical, as Beatrice is saying, because, for instance, on mental health, they've been the ones to lead our charge to make sure we got that legislation passed. On something else that the city council's not going to approve, we might have to lay back and just gather the information. One of the top issues this year, that disproportionality on human life when it comes to Black and brown people, is the death penalty. learning about the death penalty, where that goes, how we can be a part of, human rights in that regard it's a challenge to all of us, and we should be partnering. There's going to be 2 forums that the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table is going to offer. I've already put the information out, like about their agenda. I would put the information forward on that. We would all have to get there at our own rate, but we would definitely use the partnership wherever we can officially use it, and then use the rest of it to bring ourselves and others along in the human rights arena journey. So it's and or both. It's complex, but it's critical tension.
Okay, so hearing that last argument there, should we take this to a vote that we keep it in as Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table with Teresa as a liaison, with a couple of other commissioners mentioned as backup support, all others attending as much as possible? I recommend that we put this to a vote. Should this be a partner? Should this, as I have it highlighted right now in the work plan, should this stay in the work plan as highlighted?
I have one thing to say. Listening to all of this, I understand the reluctance to call it a partnership in our official work plan. I also understand it is extremely, extremely important that as many commissioners that can go, continue to go. Should we, although we combined everything else, does this need to be taken out and put under a category of extremely important, however you want to call it, extremely important that we attend these X, Y, and Z educational programs? Because someone mentioned Norfolk State or some other where we were gathering information. I get where it can't be a partnership if we can't be 2 human rights commissioners there. So can't we put it in another category?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is now open.
Thank you. And I would like to leave it as a partnership. And let me tell you why. Being a member of the Human Rights Commission long time ago, when we didn't have a single member from the community that was from the LGBTQ community, for about 20 or 30 years, City Council kept approving that we include the LGBTQ human rights that we were, fighting for. They were included in the package, and we never had any other communities to work with. This is one example in which we, as a commission, have passed and the City Council has approved that we have some issues that we can bring forth that other organizations can include in their work. So I feel it is a partnership. And if we are really fighting for human rights, this is not just a conversation. And I'm really wanted to let you know that right now the African American community is struggling to get their message out. If we don't make these changes, the systemic conflict in our community continues to exist. It is not a work that we can do alone. It is not a work that only City Council is in charge of doing once we pass the concerns to them and they approve. It is also for us to do the work of going and finding partners in the larger community that can help us push that agenda so that we can have a better community for everyone. And that is what I think human rights, fighting for human rights is all about.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Let me check and see if our commissioners on the phone have any discussion on the topic. Commissioner Zoberman?
Yeah, I think that it's important enough as a body that we should be represented also officially. People can go there on their own and represent other organizations, but we need to acknowledge that we need a liaison relationship. That does not mean that we agree with everything that they may put on the table. That does not also mean that we cannot go City Council and check on certain hot issues. But let's make it official. We have nothing to be embarrassed about it. We just have Beatrice. It's an important group, and we should have an ongoing relationship with them.
Okay,
right.
Thank you, Commissioner Zoberman. Commissioner Cubine, did you have any discussion on the matter? Commissioner Kubine, are you still with us? Commissioner Kubine?
Hello,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, thank you. I was saying that I'm not sure everyone is clear about this. The Human Rights Commission voted to support STEP Virginia legislation funding, and that is for mental health funding. Now, most years, the Human Rights Commission has, and I don't know if the City Council just took some and said that they came from us this year, but that's the only one I know that we sent to City Council this year. But usually, I think Human Rights Commission usually sends several legislative items to City Council to say that we want to support those. And if City Council agrees, then we're free to advocate for those issues. And so we presented STEP Virginia for the last 3 years to a whole large body of people, the whole legislative collaborative table, and they agreed to take it on these 3 years. And so we actually go with them to meet the legislators locally and in the state. And we are free individually to say the Human Rights Commission recommends this. And I mean, we are free because I checked it with a city attorney. But this is something that came from the commission. And other years we've had 2 or 3 legislative items that have come from the commission. And also the collaborative table was advocating for those. And as I mentioned, they are very organized in terms of their local advocacy, visiting legislators, and going to Richmond. So I feel as though it's a very, very good connection for us to have.
Okay.
I don't
Thank
know
you.
if you understand what I'm saying or have any questions, but
I think that's clear. Sounds like it's a vote to keep it as a partnership, and that you can go and represent yourself. But as you said, there are times that you mentioned that you are a member of the HRC and you speak. So again, here's the point, and we're down to our last 15 minutes here of our scheduled time. So hopefully we can get through this. So it sounds like we'll put this out to the commission again. We've heard both sides. I think a vote should be taken. Should this stay in Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership with an HRC liaison being Commissioner Stanley and having 2 backups noted with others also supporting? How many are in favor of that?
I have a virtual hand up by Vice Chair Gencott. Vice Chair Gencott, your mic is open.
I'm not prepared to make that motion at this time. And maybe this should come after in discussion. But if we have another group that we are attending more than 2 commissioners, then we run into some other logistics. Also, I just wanted to put that out on the table, but I'm not ready to make that motion. If someone else would like to, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Gencott. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
And I think it is very important that when we come to the city attorney, he knows exactly where this commission stands. So I move that we have the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table be enlisted as a partner, as it is written in there. And yes, I think it is important to have a vote.
Okay. Is there any second to that motion to include the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table in the partnership listing? I'm not seeing. Okay. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
I was seconding it.
Okay. Okay. With any room for any discussion on that motion to include Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership for the HRC, Vice Chair Gencott, your virtual hand is up and your mic is not open.
Thank you. I understand the motion that's on the table and would like to ask if we are asking for liaison, because that was not in the motion.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair Gencott. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open. Is that included in the motion?
I said that as we have it on the agenda here, what we are discussing, it is to have the partnership, the HRC liaison, and the backup and support as is written. And I think we had a sufficient discussion, and I feel that right now people are able to make a decision on that, and that will guide us as to what to do next. Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. And we had a second from Commissioner Stanley, correct, on accepting Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership with liaisons and backup support as written here, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I see a virtual hand up by Chair Neri Strickland. Chair Neri Strickland, your mic is open.
I just wanted to say, before we do this vote, we are still going to, let's assume we adopt this, that we'll check with our city attorney on legalities of everything so that we'll know how to act accordingly.
Okay, thank you.
That's good.
Thank you, Chair Neri Strickland. Any discussion on the motion on the floor from Commissioner Zoberman?
I approve it. Yep.
Okay, so we haven't voted yet. I'm just seeing if we
Yes,
had
I'm
any
for the
discussion.
motion. I'm for the
Okay.
motion. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Cubine, do you have any discussion on the motion on the table?
No, except we've checked with the city attorney before, and he said it's fine as long as it's been approved by the city council that we identify ourselves. But yes,
Thank you, Commissioner Cubine. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Heseltine. Commissioner Heseltine, your mic is now open.
Again, I understand that it's really great. It is great work, but I want the clarification of if we have a liaison, then if we have an HRC liaison, then we have an HRC liaison there. So if the HRC can't be identified as the HRC, how can we have a liaison? Or if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Heseltine. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
And the way I see it is that HRC liaison, their job would be just to come to the group and said what the city council approved from the list of recommendations that the HRC sent to them, and to inform back to the rest of the community. This is it. And you see, when we're talking about having the city attorney come, he's going to give us guidelines as to what you can say and what you cannot say. And that happens with anything, including reaching to the media. We have guidelines as to what you can say and what you cannot say. I cannot come there and confuse everybody and say, look, I'm here representing HRC, because I am not. But on the other hand, I can say, as a member of the HRC, City Council, from the list that we sent, approved to include in the city package A, B, and C. We appreciate it if you include it into the issues that you also support.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is now open.
Yeah, I think that this whole discussion has raised an important point or an issue that when a liaison participates with a particular group, are they there strictly to receive information and to inform the group as to what the Human Rights Commission is doing or what we're thinking? And are they voting in issues that are brought up by that particular group? So if you have a liaison that is a non-voting participant in the meeting, then that's one thing. You have a liaison that is not only informing and receiving information to bring back to the commission, but also voting on issues that come before that body, then I think that we need to discuss that even further. Because I think right now it's a nebulous situation. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if our liaisons are voting on issues that we may not be in agreement with. So that's another issue. And perhaps we should table this, and when we do have the attorney's participation, we can vote on something like this, because I think that there's too many questions at the present time.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Any other discussion on that? Chair Neer Strickland, do we want to get Rod's input before we move forward on this particular partnership?
I would vote that we leave it here as it is right now, but to absolutely get his reading on it, because I know what Tommy said, but he was talking about what we can do to lobby. We don't know how to address this particular group because of the voting. And I know that if more than 2 of you go to this group as human rights commissioners, it does have to be advertised.
More than, yeah, that's for any kind of
anything.
Right, exactly. More than 2, we do have to post a public notice. Yes.
I would ask Beatrice if she would mind amending her motion to say with the input from our city attorney, because we obviously all want to stay connected to it. We obviously consider it an important group and educational, but we also what was that? But we also do. I do understand what the concerns are, and how you're voting. If you're voting as a human rights commissioner on behalf of the Human Rights Commission or as individuals, it is confusing. So.
Okay, with that, Commissioner Amberman, did you want to amend your motion?
Can you repeat again, Sylvia, what is it that you want as an amendment?
Just that we, your motion is to approve this, leave it just as it is, but to caveat it with, we will check with the city attorney.
No, I would actually modify this. That we should put this motion with the caveat of having instructions and guidelines set forth for us through the city attorney's office.
Okay.
And I like that, because just to let you know, even I attended and I specified what I supported, I never said that I was a member of HRC at that point. The only person that was able to do that was Tommy. Why? Because that issue that she represented had been okayed by City Council. I represented myself, and I will continue to represent my organization. And by the way, I would like to strike the word lobbied, because we don't lobby, we advocate. Mine is a 501c3 organization, and we don't lobby. We advocate, though.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. I see a virtual hand up by Vice Chair Gencott. Vice Chair Gencott, your mic is open.
I'd like to ask that this motion be withdrawn at this time, because it's cart before the horse. If I go along with Sylvia that we need to get the statement from our legal counsel before moving forward, I would like to ask that the motion be withdrawn.
Okay. Commissioner Amberman?
Actually, no, I really support the recommendation that Sylvia made, that we actually take the vote, and then with that we'll inform the city attorney the importance that we have on this issue, and that we expect to follow guidelines that he will place forth for us as to how to participate with this group.
Okay. So the current motion on the table was to approve the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table. We have a second from Commissioner Stanley, but now we have an amendment from Commissioner Amberman to approve the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership for the HRC, but with guidelines coming from the city attorney's office. Do we have a second for that motion? Please raise your virtual hand if we have a second. Okay. Okay, I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
Second that motion.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Any discussion on the motion to approve Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership for the HRC with the caveat that we receive guidelines from the city attorney's office? Any discussion on that motion? Let me check with our commissioners on the phone. Commissioner Zoberman?
No discussion.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kubine?
No discussion.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, I'm going to do a roll call vote for approving the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership for the Human Rights Commission with the caveat that we receive guidelines from the city attorney's office. Starting with Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your
I
mic is
put
open.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Hasseltine?
Again, this is great work, but no,
Okay,
we
Thank-
can't be commissioners, right?
thank you. Commissioner Arencio? Your vote, Commissioner
No.
Arencio?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is open?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Jenkott, your mic is open?
Abstain.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is open?
I abstain.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Steven, your mic is open?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Taylor, your mic is now open?
Abstain.
Okay, thank you. Chair Neera Strickland, your mic is open?
Yes.
Okay, and Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open?
Yes.
Thank you. And Commissioner Zoberman, your mic is open?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Kubine, your mic is open?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so we have yes, 7 yes to approve the Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table with the caveat of receiving guidelines from the city attorney's office, 2 no's and 3 abstentions. So with that, it has been passed to include Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership with the caveat of giving guidelines from the city attorney's office.
I'm sorry, that's a failed vote.
7 to 5.
Yeah,
I have 7 yes, 2 no's, and then 3 abstentions.
we need 10. We are working on a full commission.
Okay, so we have 12 present.
We need only a quorum to vote. If the vote is 7 to 6 or whatever would it be, it would still carry. Is that not correct?
No. No, I believe that Ms. Jenkins is correct. We're 19 members.
Okay.
We would need 10.
And in order to pass something, you have to have the majority vote. If you have a special, need a supermajority, which would be even more than 10. So in this case, I don't believe this thing carries.
No, how many members, Dominique, how many members do we have?
We have 12 present today.
We have 12 present. That is a quorum of our commission.
But in order to
You don't.
you cannot have a small group dictating for the majority number. This, I believe it's outlined in the bylaw.
That is correct.
Okay.
Are you talking about special voting? Because
Nope.
we've had, All right, I don't know the
Yeah.
really, can you get Rod on the phone?
Sure, yep.
I apologize as your facilitator. I don't have the Roberts rules down on this.
Well, we have two, do we have two votes? We have supermajority and we have majority. The majority, if we have a quorum, the majority of the votes win.
No,
No,
no, it's the
Well,
majority,
not in this commission.
it's the majority of the commission. And
No,
I'm not trying to be a pain. You know, but
well,
what's right
you're-
is right. This is something that was discussed
yeah.
before.
yeah, let's get a reading on it because if that's correct, then a lot of the votes that we took prior to this were not legal.
Well, this is one of the reasons why we came up with this bylaws to be written and everything, because a lot of things were being done incorrectly.
And that's the beauty of this. Is a painful process that we're going through with this work plan, but it's going to be rich and fruitful once we get through it. So, you know, we're sticking to things, you know, being done by order.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all good. I just want to be legal.
Well, let me see.
Is Dominique trying to get a hold of Rod?
Yes, and I will too.
Well, I mean, if we have a copy of the bylaws, it should, I mean, not sure if the old bylaws have it, but where is the,
Okay. It looks like we were both calling Rod. He's gonna be picking up on for you, Sylvia.
Yes, sir.
While she's on the phone, the last 4 items, and we're not going to vote on these, they were just straight partnerships. MOCA, DB Cultural Affairs, Pastors Leadership, Seasons for Nonviolence.
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic's open.
Yes, that is correct, Aurelius. But actually, I don't know about the Pastors Leadership Roundtable nor Season of Nonviolence. I'm just talking about the Museum of Contemporary Art in Virginia Beach Cultural Affairs. But I'll be happy to be the liaison for those 2 groups since I work closely with them.
Okay, so in the past, they did not have liaisons, so you're willing to be a liaison?
I would be willing to be a liaison.
Now, again, we were saying that not all partnerships would have to have liaisons. So, you know, this gets into, again, it's just formalizing. You're maturing as a commissioner. I typed that in, but I think we'll have to have the discussion, and I'll italicize it and put it in a different color.
I think it's probably good to suspend our movement forward until the Sylvia comes back.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, our city attorney has dug deep into our bylaws, and it does say, and my apologies, I did not know that. Since we have 19 full members now, the vote has failed. Anything less than 10 votes, we need 10 votes for everything that we have now, because we
Because we're a full body.
we now have a full body.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Vote has failed.
Yep.
So the other thing that we can do, as he said, you may table it and we'll come back to it.
Okay. So with that, we're tabling the decision on whether or not to add Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table as a partnership for the HRC. All right, Aurelius, I'll give it back to you.
Okay. So I put on there, the matter is tabled, and I'm going to put it to the commission. It is now 5:09. I know everyone has their calendars and agendas. We were supposed to go until 5. I apologize. I did not facilitate, but it was fruitful discussion. And so I didn't want to cut it off. Any recommendation on how we should proceed? Do we schedule another meeting? And that'll give us time to work on this Hampton Roads Legislative Collaborative Table and then proceed with the last few items in the work plan? Any recommendations from the group?
I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is open.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had the hand up, but I'd be happy to make the motion to get together at another date and complete this task.
Okay. Anyone else second that motion? Commissioner Heseltine?
I second the motion.
Second motion. Okay. Any discussion on that from any commissioners? Commissioner Zoberman?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kubine?
What was the question?
The motion is to have a third retreat and work plan review.
Okay, that's good. That's fine with me.
Okay, all right. With that, let's do a roll call vote for the motion to have a third HRC retreat and work plan review. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Heseltine, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Rencio, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Vice Chair Jencott, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Stevens, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Chair Nair Strickland.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Stanley.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Zoberman, your mic is open.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And Commissioner Kubine, your mic is open.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, with that, 12 yes to have a third human rights retreat and work plan review, and it is approved that we will schedule a third meeting.
All right.
I would just like to say quickly that I really, really appreciate, and I think it's important we've had these discussions. It's good. I think we need more of them as we get to know each other. And obviously, as I learn rules, I've only been at this job a couple of years. So anyway, it's important. And I know that it's time consuming. What we decide today is going to go forward. So I feel good about it. I think we did a good job. And thank you, everyone. Anybody else?
Anybody else? And you can unmute yourself if you want to say bye or hi or have any anything to add to the group.
I agree with the discussions, and I think that this has been useful to tie the bonds between us and to actually let everyone know what we care about. I appreciate that everybody here is invested in our human rights. The way we fight for those rights for our community. But more than anything, I want to thank Aurelius because he has been key to make sure that we have a very productive and orderly meeting. Aurelius, my deep appreciation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you,
No,
Aurelius.
it's my pleasure. We're getting there. I'm excited. We're getting there.
I would like to add one thing that again that perhaps we should talk or include as part of our discussions the role of the liaison and what the liaison what we can expect from that liaison in the meetings with these partnerships.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Aurelius, thank you. I want to ditto that for the process. Could you send me, I don't have it in my plan, or at least I'm not finding it. You know, you glazed over it when we started about what were the accomplishments from last year. Remember that piece? I don't know why it's not in my report.
Yes, I'll send it.
I would really appreciate that because I want to
Okay.
check in. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me check and see if our commissioners on phone have anything further to add to the discussion. Commissioner Zoberman, your mic is open.
No, just good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, Commissioner Zoberman. Commissioner Cubine, did you have anything more to add to the discussion?
No, just it was a good meeting.
Yes,
It was.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Cubine. Okay,
Thank you, Dominique.
You're welcome.
Getting better and better.
Bravo. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aurelius. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Dominique. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
everybody.
You're
We
welcome.
will be in touch.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.